Highlands onto wheels, making my dreams become real. It's changed my life and how I feel. This trip is a big deal. The Highlands Scramble, can't forget the ride. The Highlands Scramble, you need to come and try. The Highlands Scramble, say the Highlands on two wheels.
Howdy action figures, and welcome back to another episode of Action Motorcycles. This is day 2 of our trip here in the Highlands of Scotland. We made it to Kingussie, here just west of the Cairngorms mountains, and you know the railway rooms is where we're staying, and it's fantastic. I'll show you guys a little bit of it in a second. But you know what an unbelievable day, from the roller coaster ups and downs of riding the mountains near Tomintoul, the highest point or the highest town in the UK, to the sweeping turns and beautiful scenery around Balmoral Castle. Today has just been absolutely one for the history book. And they say the east side is not even the best side of the NC 500, so more to come, and even more stuff to show off soon. So I can't wait to show you guys some of this footage. Check it out. We'll have some facts along the way, just like in my other videos, just so you can not just watching me ride up and down, but wow, what an unbelievable trip, what an unbelievable group of people. You can see here all the bikes that we've been riding. Royal Enfield partners with the guys here at Bikerbnb, and it's been fantastic. I've been riding this Himalayan 450, and I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown of my thoughts on the 450 versus my 411 here in a little bit.
The best bike stands on the market are getting a special discount if you use my code shown here. Upgrade your garage this off-season. Here's a quick walk down of the railway rooms, and let me take this opportunity to note that this is a video about the ride itself, so there is a lot of on-road footage. The video is broken down into 4 main riding sections that will be described in a moment. I've matched the timestamp to these sections so you can hopefully skip to the parts you want to see. But make sure to watch it all, however, as this ride is absolutely gorgeous. It killed me editing out any of it at all. Today we're going to ride up to the start of the NC 500 through Scotland's famous Snow Roads in the Cairngorms National Park. Leaving Muiredge, we'll first head to Weem for a coffee stop. Then it's on to Braemar for lunch and past Balmoral Castle, one of Queen Elizabeth's favorite places. After that, it's the Snow Roads up through Tomintoul and Grantown-on-Spey, then down to Kingussie on a few final old military roads. Alright, let's say goodbye to Muiredge and go get some coffee. Crieff is a traditional market town in Perthshire, steeped in history and at the boundary of the Highlands and Lowlands. The town's growth was linked to key routes north to south, making it a nexus between Lowland and Highland Scotland. In the 1700s, Crieff was a beating heart of Scotland's cattle trade. Every October, the October Tryst brought thousands of Highland cattle from as far as Caithness and the Outer Hebrides. Has much more pep than my 411 back home, and it absolutely held its own with the other bikes on this trip, most of which were all twins save one additional Himalayan. It's funny to say this about a thumper, but it also has more flash than the 411. That being said, this bike felt a little like a generic version of so many other small adventure bikes, compared to the 411, which seems much more purpose-built and value-focused. Or maybe I'm just a little hopelessly biased. The Snow Roads Scenic Route is a 90-mile stretch through the Cairngorms National Park, linking the towns of Blairgowrie, Braemar, Balmoral, Tomintoul, and Grantown-on-Spey. It's called the Snow Roads because it follows some of the highest public roads in the UK, often closed by snow in the winter, especially around the Cairnwell Pass and Lecht Pass. One of the things that you've surely noticed by now is the absolutely amazing weather that we had for this entire trip, and certainly this day. Around every turn was a new painting in the sky, and the combination of the shadows and the sunlight on the hillsides absolutely took our breath away. This is an absolutely mandatory bucket list ride for any serious motorcycle rider, and that's to say nothing for the folks in the UK who live close enough to be able to do this on any long bank holiday. You guys have got to get out here and ride these roads if you haven't already. Well, if you guys like this video, drop me a comment and let me know what you like and what you want to see more out of these next few videos here riding in the Highlands of Scotland. I can't wait to show you the rest, but keep checking this out because it only gets better from here. We're about to pass over Wade's Bridge, one of 40 bridges commissioned by George Wade, a military commander tasked with building roads and bridges across the Highlands. Built in 1733, this is the last of Wade's bridges still supporting vehicle traffic. We stopped for coffee at Ailean Chraggan Hotel and Restaurant in Weem, which sits at the heart of the Highland Perthshire and offers beautiful views of the Tay Valley, which we couldn't pass up with this amazing weather.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, buddy.
So moved here in February with my fiance. Came from Canada, Victoria, BC, and background in Red Seal Tech back home. So I worked on Royal Enfield, Indian, Triumph, a little bit of Ducati, and kind of some other ones. Came over here just kind of on a whim and found Steve and Bikerbnb and Tim and stuff, and just kind of fell in love with Scotland. And now I get to work on bikes for a living, tour Scotland, and just hang out and meet great people.
What have you found? What's been kind of the biggest culture shock between here and back home? Or some of them?
It's a hard one to say. I mean, like there are similarities, but I think it's just like the community and the rusticness of Scotland. That's a very big difference. Not to say that there isn't in that isn't there in Victoria, but there's just like you can drive an hour outside of the city and you're right at the countryside. You just hop into a little like coffee shop, Bothy, or like a pub, and you can talk with anyone. Like, you know, it's very much just like a very community-based. Everyone's super friendly. Everyone just wants to hear about what you have to say, kind of thing. And it's just it's very inviting. You know? Cool. Yeah.
So what are you riding? Do you have a bike here, or are you just kind of riding the fleet?
Well, I ride the fleet most of the time, but I do have a 1980 XS 650 that I bought. Yeah, with my missus. Unfortunately, the charging system went in it, and the rotor and the stator have to go, so I had to go buy a bunch of new parts and stuff. But
how's it working for Bikerbnb? There's not really anything like this, like you guys in Scotland, I don't think.
No, not really. There is a rental company up in Falkirk or Dalkeith for BMW, but that's just like self-guided, so you just come rent it and then you just go on and explore yourself. But like in terms of this environment and this atmosphere, yeah, it's really the only company in Scotland.
And you guys kind of have a little bit of a dream team too, with the with the capable mechanic kind of folks, the business kind of folks. You're kind of doing it all with the.
Yeah, we're just all kind of connected through motorcycles and the love of it. Yeah,
very cool. Very cool. Cool, man. I appreciate it.
It's yours, pal. Yeah, of course.
90 miles, 2 mountain passes, 3 ski resorts. The snow roads link Blairgowrie and Grantown-on-Spey, a ribbon of perfect tarmac and quite possibly the best overall riding roads in the UK. The snow roads are entirely within the Cairngorms National Park, and after leaving Aberfeldy, that means we're unofficially in the Highlands. And it's places like this where you can see that it's so easy to fall in love with this magical road. Beautiful, smooth, sweeping turns, not that many cars, and scenery that will absolutely melt your brain with how beautiful it is. This road is absolutely incredible. One thing I learned on this trip, don't just bring a helmet cover. I wish I'd brought a proper helmet bag that could double as a carry-on with zippers, a real handle, and compartments for passports and chargers. It's way safer for the helmet and way easier when you're sprinting through airports or dragging gear between stops. Before it was redesigned in the 1960s, this scenic stopping point called Connecting Contours was known as the Devil's Elbow and was made up of two treacherous tight turns. Marking the southern summit of the Snow Roads, it now serves as a beautiful lookout spot across Glen Shee. The purple flower covering the hillsides along the Snow Roads is common heather, also known as ling. Heather is a national symbol of Scotland, representing good luck, resilience, and admiration. The best displays appear in August, often called Heather Month by the locals. Well, it was right about this time when these guys started passing us that I really started missing my Street Fighter and my Desert X. But let's go ahead and admit it. If I'd been on the Street Fighter for this 90-mile run, it would have just been one giant yellow blur. We're now coming up on the town of Braemar, gateway to the Cairngorms. Sitting at 339 meters above sea level, with the Bothy Cafe beloved by riders for toasties, stew, and river views in the heart of the Highlands. We've just stopped for lunch at the Bothy in Braemar, and wow, it does not disappoint. Balmoral Castle, the royal family's Scottish home since 1852. Chosen by Queen Victoria for its Highland beauty, it's still the monarch's summer retreat, a royal stronghold in the heart of the Cairngorms. Alright, so we've left Braemar with our bellies, tanks, and hearts full, and now it's time to start the big climb up some single track and go to the fun parts. Check this out. Field Marshal George Wade, known to history simply as General Wade, is the man who carved the Highlands open with roads and bridges. After the Jacobite uprising in 1715, the British government sent Wade to the Highlands in an attempt to better control the region. Between 1725 and 1740, he oversaw construction of over 250 miles of roads and approximately 40 bridges, linking forts like Fort William, Fort Augustus, and Fort George. His work connected previously isolated glens, the same routes many modern Highlands roads, including parts of the Snow Roads, still follow today. Corgarff Castle was built in the 1500s and later turned into a military garrison after the Jacobite uprising. Its star-shaped fort walls still stand alone in the moor, a white sentinel marking the road through the Cairngorms. They called them the Snow Roads for a reason. This route threads Scotland's three ski centres, Glenshee, Lecht, and Cairngorm. The Lecht sits at over 600 meters high, a cluster of lifts and slopes surrounded by wild moorland. Even in summer, it feels like winter could roll in any minute. Grantown-on-Spey was one of Scotland's first planned towns, built in 1765 beside the River Spey. It's the end of the Snow Roads and the start of the Speyside, where whiskey country begins. Okay, here we go down our final stretch to Kingussie, avoiding the highway and taking some old military roads. Check out these unbelievable scenes and the beautiful sun as it starts to fall in the sky just a little bit. The old military roads were Scotland's first true highways, carved through the mountains by hand after the Jacobite uprising. They linked forts from Fort William to Inverness, and nearly 3 centuries later, parts of those same roads carry motorbikes instead of muskets. Wade's soldiers weren't engineers. They were infantrymen turned to road builders. They blasted through granite, laid cobbles in the glens, and built bridges strong enough to survive centuries. Every Highland pass they opened, we still ride today.
So that's it for this episode with day 2 in the books. Ready for another exciting day 3 coming up in a little bit. Stick with us and there's going to be even more to see, so keep looking for action.